And the Rabbit King appeared, and he gave his commands to the troop.
Good morning, everyone. It's another DEGA day. It's Tuesday, but it feels like Friday to me because we have a fun DEGA space today. So welcome, everyone. Rabbit, what's up, my friend? How are you? Let's give like an applause for the Rabbit. Yay! Rabbit is here. Can you speak, or will you wake up everyone at home, my friend? Conejo. Conejito.
No, I'm good. I just was getting my coffee together and the screen locked, so my microphone went off, of course. I was on mute. But thank you for the grand entrance. I got
That's
my little rabbit. My little rabbit is here with me right now, giving me little kisses on my feet. Hello, little bun. Good morning. I'll have to send pictures of my rabbit to everybody.
Yeah, you do. Like, it's bad that we're in Twitter. No, we're not in Twitter. We're in X. So we don't tweet anymore. We post, and I don't know. It's weird to me. So
yeah, it's all weird. It's all weird, brother. It's all weird. So what's going on this morning? We've been having the team has been like super, super busy.
yeah.
And so why don't you do a quick update on everything that's going on, and then we can get into some more fun stuff.
No, I guess the main thing right now is the Polkadot is everything Polkadot related. So we're preparing. Yes, we're preparing a lot of content. We have this is a surprise that I'm giving away. We're creating this web series about the adventures of the partners of DEGA. It's kind of like in the DEGA realm. I gave a glimpse of that with the DEGA Dragon, Ada the Elf, and that story, but we're pushing more stories like that for a weekly web series talking about partnerships. That is fun.
I wanted to talk to you about that because it's like, I feel like we can talk more about this during the week. I feel like we're saying the same thing over and over again, and we need your creative we need like a creative breakout. We need something freaky. We need something that we need something that's different. We need something that's weird and new and unusual. And I think that this might be what you're talking about, might be that kind of thing. That's just kind of like, just that's something different, because it's like we at DEGA, we always send out a lot of news on what we're doing and on what's going on and the challenges we have going on and everything like that. But where's the break?
We need to keep, I understand. And it was exactly the same thought when I was doing the content calendar. It was like, these are all announcements and news and stuff like that. And the only fun we're having is the contest, the Freaky Fridays, and they're happening. The way we're showing them is as announcements also. So it's kind of like, for me, my thought was like, oh, this is boring. We need something cool. Exactly what you said in my own words. So that's why we want to do this web series that is metaphorical, though. We're not talking about directly, it's like the blockchain and stuff like that. Everything happens in a fantasy world. So when we talk about the gods and creators and all that, is the people that are doing stuff. And when we talk about the journey through different realms, is kind of like moving from one blockchain to another. So everything is metaphorical, is DEGA fiction, pure DEGA fiction, what we're creating.
Yeah. Well, that's something I'm really looking forward to. You know, you were doing that thing with Freiler a while back, and that didn't like turn into something. It was like a one-off kind of thing. And it's like, can we bring in like the Freilers and I think Freiler's probably the only one. Sorry, DEGA content creators, but Freiler's like the only one who's ready to kind of like take a leap and be a little weird, you know. It's like everyone else is like great for news and great for telling everybody what's going on, but we need that creative spark to kind of like break out a little bit.
Yeah,
Because
I don't want to put Freiler on the spot, but
is Freiler on right now? I didn't even look and see who's
yeah,
even here right now.
he's in here, and we might Freiler if
Oh,
you
there
want.
he is.
Yeah, I'm inviting you to talk, but I asked them, like since we created all those Freiler characters, and we had a vote for people like which one you like the most, and I think the pirate won. So what I wanted to do is get Freiler in a conversation with Freiler the pirate, and it's like go back and forth in different conversations. So we can do that, but Freiler needs to act.
Yeah, no, for sure, and that is something. Getting you and I have a very, very good rapport. We got to get that. We got to like get that going again. We got to get that kind of like fun stuff going too, because the conversation that you and I have are outside the realm of what we usually talk about. But just to, because I have to. Yesterday, well, I took if you didn't see, I kind of like I blocked myself off on this weekend. I said, do not disturb. And I took some time and I spent some time with my family and I went and saw Oppenheimer and I went and had Italian food out with my girl and like all kinds of fun stuff this weekend. But I came in on Monday and I was really quiet on Monday. The reason I was really quiet on Monday is because, geez, I could even open my folder and look at it. We're about to announce like 6 partners, 3 of them having to do with the major polka dot people. Everybody's going to know these names. But the other 2 are there's another 2 that are Cardano based, and one of them is like out of this world. Like we're talking like over millions of followers on Twitter, like very, very large footprint organization that we're bringing in. And then a couple of the other ones are kind of like those general infrastructure kinds of partners. So I'm going to be doing a lot of writing over like the next few days. So I'm going to be, my writing isn't necessarily creative, but I need a creative outlet. And Freak, you and I, we tried to get that creative outlet going with kind of like the DEGA fiction side of
Yep.
things. We After I'm done with writing all these, can you please save me from the banality of just writing? I mean, it's like the partners are exciting, and it's like they bring a lot of activity, and they bring like a lot of action to the platform and into the project. But I'm not like writing about spirits and the things that you and I like to write about and talk about behind the scenes. So after I'm done with this sprint here to get us ready, because I mean I got to write. I'm also writing. I'm writing up the polka dot. Remember the post that we did for Cardano where we like laid everything out and like all the gamification, like all the stuff that we did. I got to do that again for polka dot. So um, I've got like a ton of writing to do over the next couple of weeks. And anything that you can do to save me, my brother, from that, I would really appreciate it.
Okay, and that's my flow. So let's do it. Let's make it happen. I see Milendro saying like we should do live creative session also live on Twitter space, but I wanted to do something kind of like the DEGA coffees, but with the tribes. It's like the tribe coffee and is having all the tribes coming in and talking and showcasing and having fun and going crazy with it, and from it delivering content. It's kind of like the content that is created by our community, making it a story, making it happen. For example, I'm just going to give you kind of like an idea. um the the Freaky Friday, we had this shell shockers, and we were playing there, and every time you came with the rocket, everyone just split up and started running. That can be a music video. That can be like the rabbit with the rocket coming. It's like it could be. It's like we're all fighting and shooting each other, and then comes this little egg, rabbit king egg, with a fucking rocket, and everyone just splits up and start running and yelling like, "Oh fuck! Here comes the rabbit with the rocket!" That's a clip, bro. That's fun.
The funny thing is because you're skilled in that stuff. You're skilled in that kind of game. You would hide, and you would know exactly how to take me out. And it's like,
if you were far, if you were far, I could snipe you, but not from close.
Yeah. So that was definitely, that's kind of like my signature. It's like one shot with a big explosion. Is kind of like what I like to do. I'm a weird mix of elementals. I got I'm fire and earth, so it's like volcano.
Because
boom.
You got okay. We had Hornigal. With Hornigal, we had this huge fight. Sheridan and you were like getting close, like because Sheridan was using a shotgun and you were using this fucking insane rocket launcher. So every time, like, I had to pay attention to my sound because you were like sneaky bastards, and I was shooting at Horny Gold, or I don't remember who was the other one, and then I hear someone coming up the stairs, and I look back, and it's this little egg with a huge rocket. So you got it.
Seriously, anybody who can make those Freaky Friday gaming sessions, please join. I mean, it is, I get, my problem is it's like it's a keyboard game. So it's like I really do only have like one move, which is rocket launcher. But it's a really, really good time to get together. We talk to each other, we shit talk each other, we have a fun time, and we get out DEGA just for participating and just for having fun with us. And that's the thing, is it's like, when Freak and I are talking to the mods, we're talking to everybody, we don't look at DEGA as like work, really. I mean, it really is just, a bunch of people coming together to have fun together first. We're having fun together first. And the cool things that come out of the back of that are, these, the partners that we make, because they all want to have fun too. And we're in a rough spot right now with the market across the board. Now the traditional markets are a mess, crypto markets are a mess. Everyone's trying to, pile on to AI. It's already like reached saturation point and coming down. It's like, well, what's next? And it's like, well, we gotta refocus on what's important. And what's important to me, and what's always been important to me, is the relationships that I make and the interesting conversations with the weird people I meet along the way in my journey in life. And Freak, you've definitely made the top 5, brother.
Thanks, bro.
You are an original. You are really an original. So join us on Fridays if you can. And if you can't, let us know when a time, maybe we should do a poll or something like that, just to find out, when's the best time for people to play, because I make friends with everybody that I play with. And it's like, that's how we come together as a DEGA tribe. That's how we come together to, get to know each other, to see who's who, and, what are you really about? It's like, it's kind of like where you, on the gaming battlefield, it's kind of like where you really see, who a person is in a strange way. Does that make sense, Freak?
Yeah, it does, because you're under pressure, you're thinking fast. It's pretty much your subconscious level that is acting, reacting, and talking. So it really reflects who you are.
Yeah, I'm just sitting there on there going, I'm coming with my bond, I'm coming with my bond. And got a bond for you, got a bond for you, freak. Got a big bond for you. And I got you a couple of times too, which made
Yeah,
me
you
feel good
did.
because you're freaking pro. You're freaking pro, dude. I'm
I'm
not.
a good sniper. I'm a good sniper. But if you or Cher like got close with those shotguns and rockets, like I'm dead because it's like you have a sniper rifle. What can you do? I would scope you like a couple of times, but it is hard. So, but yes, it is about having fun. It is about connection. It is about laughing. It is about making some noise. And I think that DEGA allows for that because we, as you said, we see DEGA as an RPG game. You know, it's like Freak is developing its own character, and it has some stats and some skills and some things. And the good thing is I can play the Freak, you know, like freely. And actually, Freak is me, and Alejo is just a mask. You know, it's so weird. But because when you see the Freak, you see the real me, and when you see Alejo, you see Alejo, the filmmaker, the CEO, the founder, the whatever startup shit. So I actually like more the Freak right now.
What we got to do, man, is we got to merge those two things together. We can't have you walking around with two personalities, man.
I
We
have like
gotta.
five. Don't worry, I deal with them all
Oh,
the time.
yeah, I've met a couple of them that. No, we'll leave that for another discussion. I can sense the rising of Dark Alejo.
Yeah, exactly. I have one that is Alejo Urrutia. I have different. I have Alex Perno. You know, there's different guys there living in my head. But that's another conversation for another time and more drinks. Rabbit, we
Let's
got
do
Freiler here. Let's
yeah.
put him on the spot.
And let's do this too. Let's not forget. I mean, I want to make sure if anyone has any questions about what's going on right now, why it's kind of been why it's been quiet, why it's been, why we've, or it seems quiet, on and all that kind of stuff. Because I want to make sure everyone knows kind of like what's going on and why, you know, why why things are going the way that they're going right now. So if you do have questions, please, this is the time and the place to be able to ask me and Freak anything you want, and we'll be happy to answer anything you got. So, but we got Freiler here, so let's go ahead and put him on the spot. What's up, brother?
Good
No,
morning,
but wait,
guys.
wait,
How
wait.
are
I
you?
want to announce Freiler with some music or something.
Oh boy.
And here it comes. The one and only. The man and the pirate. The creator. The Freiler in the house. Welcome. Yeah, there you go.
Thank you.
Can I ask you a question, brother?
Absolutely.
What's up with your name? Where did Freiler come from?
Freiler. Okay, so my real name is Skyler, but ever since I was like since a teenager, since I had my son, one of my favorite shows was Futurama, and one of the characters in there is named Fry. And I was such a huge fan of the show that eventually it just made its way. Somebody nicknamed me Freiler. Uh, so it's like a mixture of a character's name and my name. And I just went with it when I created my channel as like my online persona because it has a lot of ties to just the way I think and who I am as a person. And so my channel is called Cryptorama 2, also like plagiarized from the show Futurama.
Ah,
Uh,
now it's all
my
coming
I've
together.
got a dog named Bender. You know, I plagiarized everything from the show. so, but it's kind of funny because there's a point in the show, Fry, he gets like super rich. He's from, the early 2000s, 1990s era, and he gets frozen. He goes to the future. So on my channel, I sometimes just feel like some idiot talking about future money. And that's kind of, a parallel there again.
I like that.
Yeah, everyone has these interesting names that mean like a lot, like myself, I've been known as the rabbit for the white rabbit for a long time. I'm like the Morpheus character. I'm like the person who finds Neo, and I find these people and I help build them up, but I have a lot of the skills of Neo, but I'm never really wanting to be the Neo. I just want to like help other people become Neo. So, and the fact that, you know, rabbits, the animals, rabbits tend to like, they come to me. It's really weird. It's like I have a pet
Really?
rabbit. You know, it's like so the rabbit is in my soul in a way. So we're tricksters. You know, so you know, I took on the Rabbit King because you know I've had people just come up to me and be like, you know, because I'm 6'4" and like 260 pounds. I'm huge. I'm a
Oh
big
my
guy.
gosh.
You
You're not
know,
a rabbit?
and no, well, that's the thing is like I have the soul. The people see the soul of the rabbit in me, even though I'm like this massive, massive dude. You know, so it's like um, it's kind of funny that I have this kind of juxtaposition where there's and everybody thinks that rabbit. And the other funny thing too is everybody thinks that rabbits are cute and cuddly, but if you read about you know how rabbits really are in nature, you know they'll take out cats, they'll take out eagles, they'll take out. I mean
What?
they are like they are
Yeah.
fighters and they
Wow.
band together and they like do all this. They do things that they're not the most pleasant animal. Like my rabbit here, my girl can't even walk in the room and come near me without you know bending the knee to her first to get to the
Wow.
king. So it's a very very interesting. They're a solitary animal, but at the same time they're very social. So it's just there's a lot of rabbit in me, but I see, you know, I always see people's names and I always wonder where they come from, you know, because it helps me get to know them better, to know kind of like how they're symbolically representing themselves in the world. So thank you for sharing yours. I really do appreciate it because now I know you better for that because there's a deeper level of meaning that's associated with your name for me now.
Yeah, likewise. Thank you for sharing yours. My story sounds stupid now, but but that
Not
was
at
cool,
all.
man.
Not at all. It's like what speaks to you. It's like there is when you look at like Futurama and all that kind of stuff, the fact that you said I'm just this foolish dude who's speaking about future money, that's got deep symbolic, you know, there's deep
Yeah, bro.
symbolics in that. You know, so don't sell yourself short, man. Just because you put
And
cartoon character names on top of that doesn't mean it means any less.
exactly, I was gonna say that. And the fry already, fry already comes with a charge of meaning. So when you put that in on top of your name, you're actually, reflecting a lot of yourself in there. So like knowing the meaning is actually going vulnerable, and speaking out loud about that is showing who you really are. It's
So
like
like
I'm
I'm
just gonna
looking,
give you an example with the freak, because also the freakdom doesn't come from a strange place. It comes from me. I went to 6 different schools, to 4 different kindergarten, and I could never adapt. I lived in different countries. I moved to a country I didn't speak the language, which it was Canada, and I was bullied a lot. And so my feeling of never belonging is real. I never belonged to any place, any tribe, or anything. I could never find it, and I was a stranger all the time. So I learned how to relate to people and connect really, really, really fast with people, but I never belonged. I could never have a tribe of my own. I was too rapper for a skater, too EDM to the rich, too poor to the rich, too rich to the poor. I was never there. So I was kind of like always the freak. And I was insane. I was hyperactive, creative little kid that loved math and art. And so school couldn't deal with me. So that's why I was always the freak. And even when reggaeton started, I wanted to be a rapper, and I was a rapper. I was making music in a city that didn't have rap as an industry. And reggaeton hit with me, and everyone thought it was too, how do you say? In Spanish is mañé, like it's not of good taste. You're not to the level. So I just call myself the Freakton because I was a fucking freak that loved reggaeton, and then reggaeton became a thing. But that's what it is, and it actually Freakton reflects who I am better than Alejo, and that's what I was saying before. So these names don't come because of whatever, they have meaning and they have depth, even if you don't want to or you never thought of.
Yeah, I do want to comment on that. DEGA is where I come to be the Rabbit King. It is like, I mean, I am the rabbit in other places too. But you all, if you know how to find who I really am, um, and it's there, it's there for you to find. I spend my days, I spend my days working with the intelligence community, and I spend my days working with generals and colonels and like very, very straight laced, like spy master type guys. And it's like I'm pretty tame compared to you, freak, but these guys see me as like entertainment. It's like my job is to actually make I actually get them to open up to me. It's like get them to be different and see the world in a different way. It's like these guys don't think, like when you're dealing with crypto, you're dealing with blockchain, there's a different kind of mindset that comes with that, which comes from a place. It actually has a name. It's called systems thinking. Carlos is probably one of the best systems thinkers I've ever met. Um, but these guys don't think in systems; they think linearly. It's like they think
Mm-hmm.
very, very one, two, three. Where people in crypto and the people that I meet here, we're treated as this kind of like I
Freaks.
wouldn't necessarily say outcast, but yeah, we're treated as freaks because we think about the world differently. And it's like, these guys, I'll go in there and I'll say, I'll have to explain to them. I'm like, yes, yes, you're walking down your linear path, but can't you just look to the left and see that there's data there or there's information there that might be, intuitively part of an investigation that you're doing. And these guys are like, it's like sorcery for them. And I'm like, how the hell have we survived as a species, as a civilization, if all we're doing is like walking down this narrow path all the time? And it's like there's so much more to be able to see around you. And that's why I love decentralization, because it's like, it opens up a different kind of mathematics. It opens up a different kind of analytic that you can do on reality that you can't do when you're doing this kind of like, old school Newtonian cause and effect kind of stuff. It's like a cause or an effect in crypto has like this fractal like effect on so many different things. And it's like if you don't know how to think that way, you're going to build things like the stuff that's still centralized. You're going to build stuff that's still, even when I look at all the analytics that people do on the crypto market, those are still all the old linear stuff. No wonder it's so volatile. No wonder it's like this, because we're not looking at it like an ecosystem. We're looking at it like it's still stocks to be traded, and we're using all the old stock algorithms and all the old stock trading stuff to be able to make that happen. So it's like I enjoy being around people like you, Freak, and like you, Fryler, who are seeing this different type of we're seeing this different way of seeing the world. Because to be honest with you, the way we see the world is actually more correct than the linear one.
Yeah, absolutely, man. You know what else is just absolutely crazy? It blows me away constantly when I sit here and listen to you guys talk. Uh, it's such a great opportunity in this new decentralized world that we're creating to just learn and grow, like you said, like to hear other people's thoughts and to hear the way they think, and to be able to sit here and talk with like Freaked In, who's like a content creation like super genius, and just one of the most creative people I've ever met, and he checks so
Thanks,
many
bro.
boxes. He's a rapper, he's all these things. Rabbit's over here talking to generals and just thinks in really profound ways. And I meet so many individuals that are just top tier in their profession that I'm able to conversate or hear them speak, and it changes the way I'm thinking, you know, and it would be crazy to not have that.
Well, that's what's, I mean, what's happening right now? Why is everything so weird? You know, why are things so, why are things so volatile? Why are things so weird? We're actually going through this transition right now where we're realizing at a civilizational level that we live in systems and that you can't just disconnect yourself from, you just can't disconnect yourself as an individual, as a company, and then push out all of the bad things onto the environment anymore. It's like
But
we can't do that anymore.
I have a question for you, Rabbit, regarding that, because we come from that way of thinking. Like if you look at it, our ancestors in Latin America, well, I'm talking about Mayans, Aztecs, Incas, Chibchas, Muiscas, all those tribes, they lived in harmony with the environment, and everyone was part of their own system. Even medicine was learned by connecting to this higher realm and getting the answers from nature. And the nature would tell the shamans which herb to use to heal someone. So it was systemic thinking on that end, and everything was part of everything. And now we're kind of like we're going to a renaissance, going back, but it's driven by technology.
Yeah,
And I'm
it's
talking about
actually,
Web3.
yeah, it's actually not going back. It's just rediscovering who we are. We're not
I
going
like that.
backwards at all. It's like we're a lot of people like pine and want these old ways and everything like that. But those old ways come with a lot of baggage. Like when you're talking about, the shamans and all that kind of stuff. It's like in reality, what those shamans were doing over the thousands and thousands of years is they were trying a bunch of different things, and a lot of times they'd fail. They'd experiment on themselves.
Hmm.
They would be doing these like localized experiments, and there's like, some of those experiments didn't go very well.
No, that's why they were always missing an eye. They have their burnt face. They.
Yeah, yeah, so it was like they were trying to discover things through nature through this localized experimentation, where failure wasn't looked at as like a bad thing. It was actually, and you've heard me say this before, I don't care if somebody is out there spouting nonsense, because even a wrong answer is going to direct us in the right direction from a systemic level. So it's like, I don't, people are out there saying, oh, you have to speak the truth. You have to speak. I don't care. If someone is if someone is doing something from a disinformation perspective, like explore that disinformation and find out if it's right for you or wrong for you. And if it's wrong, it's pointing you back in a different direction of either exploration or something that's valuable for you. So, that's where we're going, is we're going back, and we're not going back. We're just rediscovering that we're part of something a lot bigger than all of our education has thought we were part of. I've said this to you in private, Freak. Like even in school, they put us in columns and rows, and they isolate us at our desks.
Yeah.
When we're driving down our car and we're driving around in our cars, there's no connection. You're perfectly insulated inside your car with your own little moving environment. In the United States, it's like nobody talks to their neighbors anymore. Everyone's their own king of their castle. And God forbid if you step on their property. It's like that's not how the world really works. That's a mental projection of how we think the world is. But as Freiler said, as he listens to us speak, we're changing our mental models on the way things work.
It's crazy. You just mentioned how everyone's so separated and segregated. I came to Oregon at like 15 years old, and I came from really rural Alaska, like out in the bush, So people miles away were considered your neighbors, and you waved to everyone you ever saw. Like everyone I've ever saw, it didn't matter if you were two people driving on the highway and it was the only person you saw for 2 hours. You both would wave from your car as you passed each other. I get to Oregon and I look somebody in the eye on the sidewalk and I wave at them and they'll look past me. And I still
Yeah.
to this day on reflex wave at people.
Yeah.
And I'm always so upset when they don't wave back. And I'm like, why do I still give people the opportunity? And it's so bizarre down here how separated and how, people just try to completely ignore that other people exist. And it's
Yes.
a product of our environment. And I really think that it's been pushed on us really hard. And yeah, I really hope that we do rediscover ourselves, like you guys say, and that we start thinking more about that stuff. I've seen a big resurgence of it, but we got a big uphill battle and we're fighting against pretty crazy odds.
Yeah. The thing that you're talking about, okay, is when, when groups of people get together. How do I explain this without like getting like way too esoteric about it? When groups of anything get together, um, the properties of that group together actually create something called an emergent. It's an emergent phenomenon. So there's like this higher level thing that kind of like pops out from the lower level stuff interacting together, and that higher level stuff actually has an effect downward on the individual part. So it's like, for an example, when you quit smoking, when you want to quit smoking, or you want to quit, or you want to change a habit or something like that, your consciousness is an emergent effect of all of your brain and all of your body and everything in your environment kind of like working together. But when you make that kind of like choice to change your behavior, you actually reach down inside into your brain cells and move clusters of nerve cells around just through the force of your consciousness alone. But when a bunch of consciousnesses get together, they create another higher level of an emergent effect. And that emergent effect also has downward causation on people. So it's like if you move from a cultural center to another cultural center, one emergent culture might have certain behaviors that aren't accepted in another emergent culture, and then there's that downward causation happening from that higher level culture on you that seems alien to you because you are in a different context. You're a brain cell that's been transplanted into like a completely different brain at that point. So it's like, something that seems very, very alien to you is normal to them, and vice versa.
Yeah, I actually totally get that. I feel sometimes like I'm too empathetic. So being in big crowds like that, it does feel like there's outside forces on my thoughts and stuff. Uh,
Yeah. It's why
what's
you
what's
don't
kind of
scream in
interesting
church.
about? Sorry, go for it.
I said it's why you don't scream in church. It's like when you walk into that context, that building itself has this unseen and this like unseen power over you to make you behave in a certain way.
I gotcha. Makes sense, man.
But wait,
Now take that up to
growing
the
up in
take that up to the
Alaska,
civilizational level. What the hell does that thing look like? Because that's a bunch of
but
cultures working together with an emergent effect higher than that.
but I have one question, Freiler, for you, because growing up in Alaska, the environment is so harsh that you do have to think on a system way, in a systemic way, because everything impacts everything. It's like the winter for you. If you don't prepare, if you don't understand nature, if you don't understand the animal behavior, you said you lived in the rural part. So if you don't understand the winds and the clouds and all those things, you can actually not make it. It's
Oh yeah. The first island that I lived on was Admiralty Island, which was just a logging camp, and it's got the highest concentration of brown bear anywhere in the world. So it's literally Bear Island. There's more than one bear per square mile. So as a kid off in the woods, you always had a gun, you always had bear mace, you always had to be very aware of nature. A lot of our schooling was just to teach us about nature. Every summer missionaries would come to the island and we'd do like this summer survival camp where you'd go and you'd learn how to build shelters, fires, find what's edible, forage, all that good stuff. So yeah, you're absolutely right, man. It was a whole different life experience than what you have here. And it kind of relates back to what Rabbit's talking about because that collective mindset is entirely different. You don't have any conversations like these. Everything is entirely survival focused, you know? So as a society, if you lived in a world like that, like how would you ever make these advancements and have these kind of like crazy, rabbit thoughts, you know?
I
Well,
love that, the
I don't think you
rabbit
can.
You would
thoughts.
never hear this genius speak, you know? I'd be back on an island in Alaska just like, my whole life was about, entirely different stuff, hunting, trapping, fishing.
Well, I don't think you could take that out of me. It would, I would in your kind of environment, in that environment up there, I would just be I'd be the shaman. I'd be the person on the edges of that, trying to find the understanding underneath all of this stuff, so that so that you could do those survival mechanisms better. It's just what I do.
But
It's what I've
you're so
always
rare,
done.
Rabbit.
Um, there's groups of us. There's guys like Daniel Schmachtenberger. There's guys like there's people out there. It took me a long time to find the tribe of people who think like me, because in the United States they don't train you. They don't train you in this stuff. It's like I'm a natural at this kind of like, I was the kid asking priests growing up, well, how does prayer work? How does prayer actually work? And have the priest kind of like, yeah, look at this kid, and
That
I'm sitting there like going to study and find out, well, how does prayer actually work?
that's
What is
funny.
it?
That
What is it really?
that reminds me a lot of me as a kid because I would ride my bike to church even when my family wouldn't go, and I was a
Me
terror to the
too.
pastor because I would do the same thing. He'd say if
Yeah,
anybody wants to talk after church, and there would be 10-year-old me sitting back waiting for everyone to leave so I could ask them questions.
yeah, yeah. There are mysteries out there that aren't really mysteries. They're not. And when you step into a systemic mindset, you can see that. And I'll get a little weird here because it's the fun space. This system has a memory. The entire system has a memory. The universe has a memory, and it's like you know you think that your pattern is forgotten. No, because the way systems work is like when a pattern works in a certain context, yeah, the system remembers it. Just like in your brain, use your brain as an example. It's like when you find something that works, a behavior that works, or a thought that works, or something that works for you, even if it's maladaptive, you will keep doing it.
Oh, yeah, and Rabbit, you brought me to something because what I do is kind of like I try to channel or I channel in my creative exercise filer, just so you know. I turn on my mic and I close my eyes and I let myself go and I say I'm just gonna channel whatever comes. And I start talking and I start talking and I start talking. And then I transcribe all of that, obviously with AI. And I start looking for the meaning and I start looking for the message in there. So there's a process on channeling all that I consider is the universe speaking through me. It might sound crazy to some, but it is kind of like letting my subconscious, get in touch. So it's kind of like my meditation. It's like when I say I'm gonna go creative, is I have a cave where I control light, I control sound, I control everything in my environment. And I just close my eyes and start talking without thinking, without processing, just saying. And I never remember what I talked about. If you ask me what was it about, I don't remember it. But then I have the transcription and I find meaning to it in a more conscious level. So I can do creative shit. So that's kind of like, I don't know, Rabbit, if that connects with what you're saying, but it brought
It
that to
does.
my mind.
It does. My background, like what I went to school for, is psychology. It's like that is I think that all of the problems in the world are not technological, they're between our ears. And the more we can understand, how the more we can understand between our ears, the more we can understand, how we can make things better for ourselves and for our communities and for our tribes and for everything like that. And Freak, what you're talking about is the wisdom layer. wisdom comes from, we're a highly intelligent species, but we're not very wise. We're very clever, but we're not very wise. So it's like this rediscovery I'm talking about is coming from a place of subconscious. Now, subconscious can be dangerous as well. But, here there be dragons. It's like that's where the exploration happens.
It sounds like Freakin taps into like this concept that I've read about before. I think it's called like the Universal Information Matrix. I think it's like the same thing you're saying too, Rabbit, just a different name. But it's not something I've ever been able to do, but I have felt like in a way, kind of like in times like that when I'm trying, I felt like a small guiding force in some way, just like warmer, colder type of feeling, and I'm very interested in it. I wish I could tap into it better, but I guess that's why we always keep trying, right?
Yeah, it's it's and I don't mean to discount this, but everyone says that everyone has this capability inside of them. They don't. That they're certain, part of our system is also is creating like a bunch of, everything needs to vary in our system. It's the technical term for it is non-ergodic. It's non-repeating. Um, so, some people's configuration of their very brain does not allow them to do that. It's just not physically possible for them to be able to loosen up that much. Age has something to do with it. Training has something to do with it. But for the most part, there are kids who walk around and who just can't imagine. They're not sitting there playing with imaginary friends or playing with, like doing an imaginary type thing. They play much more in the physical. And the you can tap. There's always a whisper of it. I'm not saying that it's like completely impossible. But some people like Freak, his brain is, and believe me, it's a blessing and a curse because it comes with other things when you have that kind of like loose subconscious and connectivity with the more intuitive part of your brain. Because sometimes there are thoughts that can arise that might get locked in that shouldn't. Um, so this is the realm of the universal subconscious. It's very Jungian in a way, where the symbols are speaking to you more than the actual definitions are. Right?
We're all we're all we're all like shit, deep
Yeah,
shit. But
yeah,
dude, I do want to jump onto more
yes.
how do you say uh terrestrial stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, no, well, that's the thing is like this is our fun space, but I did want to, like I said, I use all of these techniques that I'm kind of like whispering to all of you to, you know, to build data. It's like all these things I'm talking about. It's like, there are practical applications of what I'm talking about that actually help us build data. So, and there's models and there are things that you can use. Like there's a technique, and you can look this one up. It's called VCML, and that stands for Vision, Mission, Capacity, and Learning. And that's a systems approach to building an organization, and it's something that I try and instill in when I'm an advisor or whenever I'm dealing with anything. I always try and apply the VMCL framework. Um, to make sure that everyone, understands the vision, how the vision drives the mission of an organization, how you actually act every day in that mission, which is the capacity, what tools you use to be able to enhance your mission, and then the learning part of your organization. Like you'll always hear us talking about feedback loops. How do we hear from you? What better ways can we hear from you on how to make our organization better? So there's techniques out there that I do use terrestrially to be able to help build data. And I've forced some of that on Freak, but Freak, as you hear me say these things, you understand why, as a strategy and operations person, why that's important for an organization.
No, I always go with what you say, and I completely trust your wisdom. So I always connect to that, and I also use a lot of those processes in different ways for my creative. And I don't know, this is what, like, getting to our next more factual things before we end. I can run longer though. I can run longer today, half an hour longer, but that's the way everything comes. So even the soundtrack, like the DEGA content contest, creation contest, and the grand challenge come from those processes. So it's kind of like that is what I want to talk about a little bit. The grand challenge and the 3X and how it works. How did you come to it? Why is it happening? Why a reward like this behind a really tough challenge, community wise and tribe wise, and also the soundtrack challenge, because why does it happen? Why it is the soundtrack? So I want to jump in onto that conversation, if you don't mind.
No, go for it.
So one of the things is, as the rabbit says, we're building DEGA in a tribe way. We're not building this in a close quarters. It's kind of like just ourselves thinking of how it should be built. Is actually, we need to build it with you all. And yes, we release some concepts and some ideas, but the plan of that is to spark something in you, like all this weird content, all the images. For example, the last image I released, the dragon with the people and the avatars, all of that are kind of looking to wake up something different in your brain, because we try to create images that are not usually images that you see, like people share their RPG, Dungeons and Dragons, Northern mythology, kind of like that. We're actually exploring new stuff. We're exploring new worlds. We're exploring old ancient wisdom and applying it here. And when the hope is that when we give it to you and show it to you, we spark something in your creative self. Why? Because the way we need is to open your mind, realize there's no box for creating, that you can go as far as you can, and help us build how does DEGA sound. So it's all the information out there, everything we tell, everything we speak, everything we do. After seeing all that, how does DEGA sound to you? And by listening to everyone's sound, we will discover the real DEGA sound. So that's why we do a contest like that, to find the sound of DEGA.
And I'm gonna challenge the community on this one. I mean, who are you? Are you here and are you just going to take everything that we say and be a consumer of whatever we say? Or are you going to participate in the creation of what we're trying to do? And, Freak and I have had conversations before. A lot of people just want to take the information and be like, oh, okay, they're saying it because they're in charge. Pardon my language, but fuck no. If we are saying something that's doesn't resonate with you, or like for example, even with the creative with the grand challenge that came out, people had questions about that, people had assumptions about that, and we're not gods. We're we're not going to say things that are like completely correct all the time. So when we get challenged by you, we come back and we're like, okay, well, how do we do this better next time? How do we communicate this better next time? How do we make sure that we're answering questions like these that we couldn't see? This is when I say we can't do this without you. It's because we have blind spots. And you as a community, it's like having a trillion eyes, looking at the things we're doing and saying, here's a different point of view that you haven't considered. And we say, oh, okay, well, we have to include that in our mental model next time.
Exactly. So that's is the only way we're gonna build something that lasts, something that is sustainable, is connecting our collective, it's connecting all our thoughts, brains, and subconscious on a value, dream, purpose driven, you know, community. And so that's why it's like dare to create, dare to feel, open yourself up and tell us what, dude, the soundtrack thing, it can be a sound, like it can be something like, you know what I'm talking about. Or just like, that's HBO. So it's because it reflects everything that they mean, and it comes from a place of creation like that. So that's what we're looking for. We want to tap into everyone's collective ideas in order to find those things. And even with images, even with creator, that's why we also are putting like AI tools that you can use. The more tools that come, we will give them to you. You can now use ChatGPT in our Discord. You can create images in our Discord and experiment. And if you run out of credits, we give you more credits. We give you unlimited role credits because you're creating. So that's what this type of challenges are all about. And my goal is, it's a personal goal. It's everyone. I do believe that we're here to be creators, and is the closest we can get to divinity is creating products, creating whatever. It doesn't have to be, like videos, but is creating is the closest we can get to divinity. So for me, it's an obsession, helping everyone tap into their into their creative selves. So that's what this contest is all about. Yes, the 75 thousand DEGA tokens. And if you belong to a tribe, there's 25,000 DEGA tokens for the tribe. So it is a really fucking good contest. But the goal is not that. The goal is to co-create with you. Oh, everyone in silence. Or are you doing the Jeff Bezos to me? Are you doing the Jeff Bezos rabbit?
No, I just got a message and I was reading it.
Okay. It's like Friday Rabbit does this to me, and he's like, Jeff Bezos like does this 10-second silence thing so everyone feels, and people like me can stop talking because silence is awkward.
Well,
So
no,
he
it's
makes
okay.
fun
I
of
mean,
me.
I'll say things too, and everyone's like, well, I don't know if anyone just doesn't understand what the hell I'm talking about, um, or whatever. But no, I get it, freak. Of course, I get it.
Yeah. So the other thing is the grand challenge, and this is on you, bro. The grand challenge, the DEGA grand challenge, I know it also connects with a lot of deeper things. So I think that's our latest challenge and the biggest one we've ever made.
Yeah. So the grand challenge. Okay, so this is we have given a goal to the community, and it's a breakout goal. It's like, this isn't just about, who already knows about data, because, to reach this goal, we have to break out of our current environment. We have to go and explore new environments. We have to, like what I was saying at the beginning of the call, it's like, well, what can we do that's a little bit different than what we've been saying, so that we can start attracting different people to our tribe, to what we're doing. So it's like, and it's a big one. And if successful, we are going to, it's going to be a triple spot bonus, but it's a spot bonus that will completely triple everything you got. So, but the thing is that this challenge is not easy. It's like, if you look at where our numbers are right now on the ISPO, it's like we still got about 10 million, 10 million more to go, 10 million ADA more to go. And it's like, what can we do, as a community, to come together to break out and find new people, find new, um, find new people who want to participate with DEGA. So there's a community, it's a community challenge. It's like we can support you in your ideas, but this is something that you all need to do. And it's not easy. That's the thing. That's why the reward is so high. Is it's like it's not an easy thing to do.
But what happens if we achieve the goal?
What happens if you achieve the goal is, it will. We're going to. We have a specific end date associated with it. Once that end date hits, we're going to look at the title. We're going to look at the total. We're going to see if we made it or not. If we make it, then we're going to wait 2 epochs, so that anybody who got brought in also receives this bonus. Because usually with the way the Cardano in our reward system works, is you have to be staking for 2. You have to be delegating for 2 epochs before you start receiving rewards. We want anyone who gets brought in to also get this. So we're going to wait 2 epochs, and then we're going to bonus everybody. This is not, and I want to make this clear because I think this is part of the confusion too. This is just a spot bonus. We're just doing this one time. Now, judging on, I hate to bring the specter of, what happens if we don't succeed. If we don't succeed, well, we're going to make it easier, which means lower rewards.
I was going to ask that.
Bonus.
Yeah, with lower bonus.
Yep.
But what? So is it on top of all the rewards I've made up to that point?
Yeah. So say you've been delegating since the beginning, and you've got 10,000 DEGA. By the end of this, you'll have 40.
Shit, that's a lot.
Yeah.
So it's from the moment that we close the challenge back, all the rewards you have in DEGA are gonna triple.
Correct. But
That's
we can
it.
only do that one. We can only do that one time, because we want to keep on that. If we continued to do this, we wouldn't be able to do bonus programs like this going forward. It would just be over at this point.
Yeah.
So it's like we have other bonus programs that we want to do. So if we lock this in as an ongoing thing for until the end of the ISPO, we'd break the bank. So it would just, we wouldn't be able to, do the contests anymore. We wouldn't be able to do any of the stuff that we're doing anymore, because it would just all go to the Cardano portion of this would be exhausted.
Yeah, and we still have 3 other protocols coming in and but
Well,
what I want to say, this is all
different.
accounted. This is planned.
Yes. Yeah. So this is just this bonus structure that we're talking about for Cardano only. So we do have another fresh batch for Polkadot, another fresh batch for Ethereum, and another fresh batch for Polygon. But this is a Cardano program that we're talking about here.
Yeah, what I want everyone to understand is, and that is really clear, the 9 billion coins, DEGA tokens, that are out there. It's plus bonus, because this bonus and challenges and everything are accounted for.
Yes.
Okay. Perfect. Okay, perfect. That's really important to know. So the allocation for all this is 9 billion plus bonuses, because all these challenges are accounted for, are planned, and they're not something.
I want to make sure, go look at the blog post. It says specifically in there, we're putting aside this much plus bonuses. You know, so it's like that is I want to make sure that, you know, go back and read the blog post. You know, we have accounted for these bonuses.
Okay, perfect. So I think it's pretty clear. Freiler, is there anything we're missing on this message? Okay, maybe Freiler is in the restroom or something. But I see oh, there you are.
Sorry, my dogs are just going crazy in here. I'm just wrapping up, getting ready to head out. So had you on.
They
mute.
smelled the
Sorry about
rabbit.
that.
Don't worry. No, the question is like, is are we missing something? Do you have any questions regarding Grand Challenge or the soundtrack, the creative contest, or something like that?
No, I mean, not personally. I had seen some questions, of course, in the community, but I feel like you guys already answered them.
That was the important thing. Yeah, to answer those questions.
Yeah, I think you guys did a great job. I can't wait to make a video on everything as soon as I have a moment to sit down and do that.
With the
But time is
pirate?
passing by. TikTok.
With the pirate?
With the pirate, maybe, man. I gotta tap into one of these characters you were telling me about. I'm trying to find that freaky energy still, you know. But you really helped me out the other day, and actually, I really just changed around my whole backdrop, my whole light setup. I'm using less lights. It looks way better. I wanted to thank you for that too today while I was talking to you. So yeah, much appreciated, man.
Oh, can't wait to see it, bro. Can't wait to see it. And if you need help with the pirate, let me know. Cause I have the tokens ready to make the Freiler pirate happen. So
All right, man. Then I'll put some serious thought into it and try not to waste your tokens.
it's not a waste. It's not a waste. It's an investment.
I'll commit this time. I'll find the character. You know, last time, like, I expected you to, like, you know, just take it away from me, like, freak then take the wheel, you know, like, but
Oh, we can do that, dude. We can play it out. We can play it out and then edit it. You know, record both screens and then edit it. And I can help you play the pirate. If you script it, I can play it.
all right, man. You're giving me a lot to work with. Then we'll talk about it.
Yeah, perfect. Rabbit, I don't know if you want to say something else. I think that's the end. It's inviting everyone. We have the soundtrack. We have the creative contest going on. We have the grand challenge, which is a huge challenge. You know that we need to get together and make this happen. I want that 3x. I need that 3x.
Oh no,
So
I have nothing else. I mean, anyone, you know, find me on Twitter, find me on Discord. You know, I'm going to be heads down writing, so you know, just send me, you know, just go into general and call it my name, and I'll do my best to be able to answer any questions you have.
okay, perfecto. So everyone, this is my sound stopped working. My music. So there's no music anymore to say goodbye, but it was great spending time with you. Great conversation, Rabbit. Freiler, thank you very much for jumping on. Love having you here. And we'll see you on Thursday. There's no space tomorrow, remember. So see you on Thursday. And Rabbit, let's talk about making the coffee sessions with the tribes. I really would love to do that.
Yeah, just go ahead
The
and set it up,
community.
man.
Yeah. Okay. So everyone, have a great Tuesday. Getting the challenges, guys. Getting the challenges. We need that. Take care. So bye.
All right, take care, everybody. Thank you.
Imagine there's music playing and something and we're going out.
Okay.
You can sing Rabbit Boy while I